If you were a chocolate candy bar, what would you call yourself? I don't know, but I'd call you a bloody pervert. Hello and welcome to another video, and today is everyone's favourite day of the year, apart from like birthdays, Christmas, maybe like bar mitzvahs if you're Jewish, or just really into culturally diverse celebrations. That's right, it's Q&A day. So, usual things, usual setup applies. I posted on Instagram this morning saying I was going to do this. I got hit with an abundance of questions. If you didn't see that, if you weren't aware of that, then you're not following me on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, why are you even alive? So, I've got my trusty phone with me. I say trusty, it's not trusty. It's like untrusty, because at the moment it just turns off. It gets to like, this morning it was on 25% and it turned off. Like, why is that battery display even there? That would be like your car being like, yeah, you got half a tank. Oh no, you're empty. Like, what is the friggin' point in that display? Sorry, I digress. So I'm going to do the same thing I always do, whereby I go through the questions randomly. Like, I haven't looked at them yet. I find that if you don't look at them, it makes it more funny because you get my reaction and stuff. I'm going to go for Instagram alone, because if I go to Facebook and Twitter, it kind of freaks me out and I'm a bit of a weirdo in that respect. I've got a lot of questions, so obviously I can't pick them all. I'm going to set the standard Mattdoesfitness 15-minute timer, which is being initiated now. So let's freaking get on with it. Turn my volume up so you can hear when the thing goes off. Ben Graham 31. Why does your brother look more like Luca than Luca looks like Luca? So when my brother Ben was in a video recently, loads of people were saying he looked a lot like Luca, which I can't really see, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, maybe he is Luca. Maybe my brother's my son and I just conceived him and had him when I was like 4 years old. That doesn't make sense and it's pretty weird. Ben Graham, you're a pervert. Next question, James M. Bevan. I'm assuming M's the middle name, it's not James M. Bevan. If it is, then that's a massive long name and it sounds a bit like Umbungo. Maybe you should make your own fruit juice and sell it as James M. Bevan. If you were a soup, what kind of soup would you be? That's a bit of a weird question, to be honest, mate. I'm gonna say like a really disgusting soup, like, I don't know, like lizard urine soup, because then no one would eat me. Like, I wanna be alive, you know, so I'm gonna choose a crap flavour so that no one wants to eat me, so I can just live out my days in a can at the back of the shelf in like Lidl in Galbraith. Matt.li_. Would you mix cardio and weight training in the same session? If so, which would you do first and why? Matt, that is a no-brainer. Always do weights before cardio. I mean, obviously all of these things depend on your training goals, but assuming you're like a normal person that's going to the gym to get bigger or get stronger, you're always going to put your weight training before your cardio. I mean, I guess if it's like really light, moderate cardio, you could do it as a warm-up, but any kind of HIIT training, for example, you'd always do it after your weight training, because if you do HIIT training fatigued, it's going to be hard, but it doesn't matter, you're still going to get the same outcomes. Whereas if you do weight training and you've just done a HIIT session, the quality of your weight training is going to suck. Next question, stop Matt from training biceps. That's pretty funny. That's your username, stop Matt from training biceps. If you've made that for me, that's pretty funny. And your question is, why is the word for fear of long words hippo, oppo, tomo, strossa, quipedaliophobia so long? I don't know, like irony, I guess. Kathal Matthews 95. Thoughts on white chocolate spread? I just think it's like too much. Like, I quite like white chocolate in moderation, but just spreading it over your stuff is just weird. Like, it's just too intense, you know? It's like, I like sugar, right? But I'm not gonna friggin' have a bath in sugar or just down a bag of sugar. It's too much. You can have, believe it or not, Cathal, too much of a good thing. David.Langdon 1. Isn't that the name of the guy in Da Vinci Code? No, that's Robert Langdon. If you're related to Robert Langdon in the Da Vinci Code, that's pretty cool. Can you get me some kind of signed memorabilia, please? Anyway, now that you're training abs, what's your favourite exercise? I only do like 3 exercises, but I'm going to say cable crunches. Like, I'm a really big fan of cable, so you get the like tricep rope, put them here, and just do like cable crunches on your knees, and they feel really, really good. You get a huge amount of engagement, or I do anyway. And the good thing about them is that you can obviously moderate the weight, so that when you get to like a point where you're doing 50 reps, which will be the case with sit-ups, for example, rather than just going up to 70 and 80 and 90 reps and becoming like an Ethiopian marathon runner, you can increase the weight, and it means you always stay in an ideal rep range. Tasha6690. Hey, with loads of Y's. Are you and Sis planning to get married? Tasha, firstly, I'm assuming you mean married, the common spelling of the word. And secondly, I don't know, like you say, you know, married, me and Sarah's gonna get married. I mean, what is marriage? It's a very subjective term. Like marriage, are we talking married in the classical sense of the term married? We're already friggin' married. Watch my videos. Brit49, like that's annoying me. Why have you used that twice? What you should have done is Brit49 and then 94 trib, because then it would have been like a reflection. That would have looked sick. As it is now, it just looks stupid. Anyway, what does your cardio look like? Do you do much? My cardio looks like this. Me tab 97. Arsenal versus Liverpool prediction. I get asked this all the time, like, Arsenal predictions, what's the point? That's like trying to predict how many drops of rain are going to fall on your house in the space of a year. Like, literally no one knows. It's a complete gamble. Like, we could play really well and win, or we could play terribly and get pummeled. Like, I'm not even going to try and guess that. Manny_P_89. What is your least favourite food? That's hard. Like, I mean, what are we talking? What are we including in the bracket of food? Like, I don't like olives, for example, but I'd rather eat olives than like my own feces, and then I'd rather eat like my own feces than a homeless person's feces. You know, so how deep are we going into the realms of food? If we're talking about typical food, then I'm gonna say, I don't know, something like squid maybe. Altitude Fitness TV, I like it. It grabs your attention. Will you enter a men's physique or bodybuilding competition? You should have put an apostrophe before the S in the word men's, and probably not. Like I've said this a few times in videos, I'm not going to say, like, never say never, right? I know it's a cliche, but it's true, like, never say never, unless you're saying I'm never going to turn into a dragon, because that's never going to happen. But in terms of this, almost certainly no. It just doesn't appeal to me. The thought of like getting myself super tanned and oiled up and stuff and dieting to the point where I'm going to die and then standing on a stage, like that just doesn't appeal to me at all. So almost certainly no. M. Priatelli. How not to be fat being a dad. How to keep enjoying life as a married man. Keep enjoying life as a married man, just like, in fact, both of those questions, you can get rid of the dad part and the married man. Like, how to not be fat. Eat less food. Like, it's very simple, whether you're a dad or not. In fact, being a dad like makes it easier to not be fat because you have less time, so that's less time you can be eating food. And in terms of enjoying life as a married man, again, just have a good life. Like, whether you're married or not, just do sick things that you enjoy doing. Don't do rubbish stuff for the sake of doing it. Dom lifts. What would you say are your weak points? I'd say like my funny bone, or like my humeral nerve, probably like my patella tendon, because when you hit that, it really hurts. Maybe the soles of my feet, because sometimes I walk on like really hard ground and it hurts a bit. Like my temple, I guess. Like, I guess if someone was to really hit me there, it would hurt quite a lot. My private area, again, you get a ball to there, you're struggling. But if you're talking about like physique wise, and I guess my shoulders are very weak and they're very small, so that is a work in progress. Stevens_performance_coach at Mattdoesfitness. I like the way you've like tagged me in it just to make sure I definitely read it. Well, it works, my friend. Do you think you add much size? Mate, come on. My question is, can you learn to write properly? But I'll answer your question. Do you think you'll add much size to your lower body with having a powerlifting background? No. I think my legs will stay the same, if anything gets smaller, but here's the key part, because I'm going to be a lot leaner, they're going to look a lot bigger. I think I probably store a good amount of fat on my legs, so doing this cut now, I think my legs are going to look a lot bigger, even though in reality they're probably the same or a bit smaller. Dave Hill _ how to deal with shoulder pain in overhead presses and incline pressum. I think you mean presses again. So I've experienced this quite a lot, which is why I didn't do shoulders for a long time, but a real easy way to kind of minimize the stress on your shoulders is to tuck your elbows more. So any kind of pressing, if you're pressing, same goes for like horizontal pressing. If you're pressing like this, your shoulders are exposed and there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. If you bring them in here and you press from here, then your shoulders are protected. And although it may not be as good in terms of engaging your shoulders, in terms of longevity and protecting your shoulders, that's the way to go. Adam.Squires, how do you know when to cut or bulk? You don't. Like, there's no guide, like no one can tell you when you should cut or bulk because it's personal preference. Like, if you If you're fat and you don't want to be fat, that's when you should cut. If you're really skinny and you want to be bigger, that's when you should bulk. There's no magic time. Like, what I would say is that if you're new to the gym, that's normally a good time to bulk because you're going to capitalize on the huge amount of progress you can make at that stage in your lifting career. But at the same time, if you're new to the gym and you're really fat, then don't bulk, then obviously run a steady cut. What I will say is that whether you're cutting or bulking, always do it gradually and incrementally. As with anything, like, do it in moderation. If you go too extreme one way or the other, there's going to be negative side effects. I think that meant to say fitness style, but you've changed the E to a 3, which is kind of weird, but I guess it's cool in a weird, not cool, rubbish way. If any, what Christmas song would get you amped for the gym? Absolutely, The Darkness. What's it called? The Darkness, Christmas time. Dig and Darren. Dig and Darren. Dig, is that Dig and Darren? Or Dig and Aaron? Or Dig and Aaron? I don't know. What do you make of compression gear, especially for recovery? Worth it or not? If you're buying compression gear to help recovery, that's a waste of money. Like, it's not going to do, the effect it's going to have is like, if someone said compression gear may help recovery, what they mean is, we've done a study and it showed it helped recovery by 0.0000001%. In the same way that eating a carrot is going to help recovery. Like, it's not. It's going to be so negligible that it's not worth it. So buy compression gear because it looks sick, or like you want to wear it because it feels nice, but don't buy it for recovery because it's not going to make a difference. Zane 95H. Hardest thing about cutting, I find like the little bits in like an O, or like, you know, like the letter R or a B or an O, the little getting the bit in the middle is really hard because you fold the paper and you can cut that way, but then you end up having a big fold in the middle of it, and if you try and go and just commando, like nude style, then you end up like puncturing the letter and messing it up, so it is a big dilemma. Jokes, I know you mean cutting as in like cutting, weight cutting, and to be honest, at the moment, like nothing. But I don't want to make people feel bad, but I'm finding it remarkably easy. In fact, I'm actually having to eat more food, like forcing myself to eat more food because I'm cutting too fast. So at the moment, nothing about cutting is hard. Sagama_8. How long do you think you would last in a desert with no food with that metabolism of yours? Probably about 15 seconds. Bobbins. Motivation question mark. Right, that's not a question. You can't give a one-word question. That doesn't qualify as a question in my books. So as a punishment for being lazy, I'm not even going to answer that. PPLM 202. That's a stupid name. Pupilum 2021. Do you only coach for powerlifting or do you coach for bodybuilding and recomps too? I coach for everything. Like, I mean, I guess not like skateboarding because I'm not very good at skateboarding. I wouldn't know where to start. But in terms of gym, the fitness world, like I have clients who are competitive powerlifters. I have clients who are trying to lose weight. I have clients who are bodybuilders. I have clients who are physique athletes. Like, I have a whole range of clients. Like, if you want to be coached by me, it's a good idea because I'm a sick guy. Email me, Mattdoesfitness@hotmail.com, and if I have some spots, we'll make it happen. Nick Weston 87. Daddy or chips? What are you talking about? Daddy or chips? Is that some kind of sick, like, underground joke? Like, daddy or chips? Like, do I prefer men with children or chips? Definitely chips. Like, I can't eat a man, but like, that's a stupid question. Like, that's like, it's completely abstract. It's like me saying crocodile or waxing your gooch. Like, that's not a comparison, they're two completely different things. So in response, I don't know, stop messaging me. Forex with Josh. I want to get shredded but struggle with eating the right foods. What can I do? You can realise what I've been saying for the last 40 years, that eating the right foods is ultimately irrelevant. Eating the right quantity of foods is what matters. So if you want to cut, eat less food. You don't need to eat particular things. Of course, eating like healthy stuff is going to be good for you, for your like skin and your organs and your emotions and mental health and stuff, but in terms of your body composition, what matters is how much food you're eating. Argale 20, can you answer one of my questions as you never have and I always ask? No. Gyute, if you were a chocolate candy bar, what would you call yourself? I don't know, but I'd call you a bloody pervert. Feeling myself _ So, when are you gonna start taking steroids? Good one, Phelan. I'm asked this, in fact, since I changed to bodybuilding, I've been asked this like literally a million times. Also, thanks to the clickbait title, mate, much appreciate that. But I'll answer it now. No, like I will never take steroids. I've never taken them and I never will take them, simply because there's loads of reasons, right? I mean, I work in a school, so it will be grossly inappropriate. Like, I want to be a role model. I think that's not a very good thing for a role model to do. I've got a child now, so in terms of the health risks and implications, it's not worth it. And just from like a personal moral standpoint, I feel like it's just ultra subjective. Like, I'm worried that if I was to take steroids, like, where do you draw the line? You know, like, you start taking for a while, I guess you get bigger, and then if you got to take more, or like, what if you don't want to get them anymore and you got to stop taking them? You're going to get smaller and weaker, and then it's just like, you know, who has the most, or who has the best, most effective steroids is going to look the best. It's just, I like things to be objective, or as objective as can be, and taking steroids would not enable me to do that. So even if I ignore all of those other factors I just discussed, just from a personal standpoint, it just doesn't appeal to me at all. So no, I'm never going to take them. And that is the timer. We're out of time. The Q&A is over. I'm pretty cold. The water, I'm pretty sure, is getting quite close to me, so I'm going to sack this off. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow.